Every day, millions of people wake up tired. They drink more coffee. They try to push through, but inside, something feels off. Their hair is thinning. Their skin feels dry. They're gaining weight, even though they haven't changed what they eat. They feel cold when everyone else is comfortable. And when they finally see a doctor, they hear the same phrase: "Your tests are normal." But they don't feel normal. They feel like a dimmer switch inside them is being slowly turned down. If that sounds familiar, then what I'm about to tell you might change everything. Because today, we're not just talking about numbers on a lab test. We're talking about your energy, your clarity, your life force. So, let's start by making something clear. Your thyroid is not the problem. It's the messenger. And if we learn to listen to it, it can show us exactly what your body needs to heal. Let's start at the beginning. What is the thyroid? It's a small, butterfly-shaped gland at the front of your neck. But don't let its size fool you. It's one of the most powerful glands in your entire body. You can think of your thyroid as your metabolic conductor. It doesn't play the instruments, it sets the tempo. When it speeds up, everything speeds up. Your heart rate, your digestion, your energy, your thoughts. And when it slows down, everything slows down too. That's why when your thyroid is off balance, you don't just feel tired, you can feel like an entirely different person. Now, let's make this really simple. Imagine your body has a built-in thermostat that controls your metabolism. That thermostat lives in a tiny part of your brain called the hypothalamus. When the hypothalamus senses that things are cooling down, that your metabolism is slowing, it sends a message to another gland in your brain called the pituitary. The pituitary then releases a hormone called TSH that stands for thyroid-stimulating hormone. TSH is like a wake-up call. It tells your thyroid, "Hey, time to get to work. We need more energy down here." Your thyroid responds by producing two main hormones, T4 and T3. Here's the part most people don't know. T4 is like storage. It's inactive. T3 is the one that actually powers your metabolism. You could think of T4 as a parked car and T3 as the engine running. But your thyroid mostly produces T4 and your body has to convert it into T3. That conversion happens mainly in your liver and your gut. Now that right there is the missing piece for millions of people. Let me make it visual. Imagine your thyroid as a bakery. The pituitary sends the order. "We need more bread." That's TSH. The thyroid bakes the bread. That's T4. And then your liver and gut slice it, butter it, and serve it fresh. That's T3. If any step breaks down, if the order doesn't come through, if the bakery runs out of ingredients, or if the kitchen can't serve it properly, your body ends up starving for energy. You might still have normal numbers on your test, but your cells aren't getting fed. That's why you can look fine on paper and still feel completely off. So when your doctor says your labs look good, you can say, "Yes, but my life doesn't." Now that we know how the system works, let's look at what happens when it goes wrong. When the thyroid works too fast, it's called hyperthyroidism. That's when you might feel anxious, sweaty, shaky, with heart palpitations, or unexplained weight loss. When it runs too slow, it's hypothyroidism, and that's what happens in almost 90% of cases. That's the slow, heavy, foggy, cold feeling that so many people describe. It's like someone turned down the brightness on your entire life. And this matters because your thyroid doesn't just control energy. It influences almost every organ and process in your body. Your brain, your heart, your muscles, your skin, your digestion, your mood. And that's why thyroid issues can show up in so many ways. Weight gain, depression, constipation, dry skin, hair loss, brain fog, or even anxiety. Your thyroid isn't just about metabolism, it's about balance. When it's off, everything starts to drift out of tune. Why standard treatment often fails. So, you go to the doctor. You tell them your symptoms. They run a blood test. And when your TSH comes back high, they say, "You have hypothyroidism." Then they hand you a prescription for Synthroid, a synthetic version of T4, and tell you to come back in a few months. When you return, they check your TSH again. It's lower now, so they say, "Perfect, you're fixed." But deep down, you know you're not. You still feel tired, foggy, bloated, or anxious, because the truth is, lowering your TSH doesn't automatically heal your thyroid. You might have plenty of T4 floating around, but that doesn't mean it's converting into T3. And since most doctors never test for T3, they never see the missing piece. That's why so many people say, "My numbers look fine, but I still feel terrible." They're not imagining things, they're just trapped in a system that treats the thermostat, but never checks if the house is actually warm. And that brings us to one of the biggest misconceptions in modern medicine, this idea of what's considered normal. Because when your entire treatment depends on a single number on a lab sheet, the difference between normal and optimal can be the difference between surviving and truly living. Let's take a closer look at this idea of normal. Most labs say that a normal TSH is between 0.5 and 5.0. That's a 10-fold range, enormous in biological terms. You could have a TSH of 4.8 and feel completely drained, but your doctor says you're fine. But fine isn't optimal. Healthy thyroid function usually lives around 1.8 to 3.0. That's what many functional and integrative doctors call the golden zone. So if you've ever felt dismissed by normal test results, you're not crazy. You're just outside the optimal range that keeps the body thriving. Here's the bigger issue. Thyroid care isn't one size fits all. For some people, the thyroid itself is underperforming. For others, it's perfectly fine. The problem is conversion. And for many, it's stress, liver overload, gut imbalance, or even hidden toxins. That's why two people can take the same medication and have completely different results. It's not about finding the perfect pill. It's about finding the real cause. Because you can't heal what you don't understand, and you can't understand what you never test. Now that we've cleared the myths, let's go deeper. Because the thyroid doesn't fail on its own. It's not a random glitch. It's a signal. Your body is trying to tell you something. So, let's uncover the 5 hidden causes that most people and most doctors overlook. 1. Toxins and halogens. The iodine imposters. Your thyroid needs iodine to make its hormones. But here's the problem. Iodine has imposters. They're called halogens, fluoride, chlorine, and bromine, and they behave almost exactly like iodine inside your body. So when you drink tap water filled with fluoride or chlorine, or eat foods baked with brominated flour, these chemicals sneak in and take iodine's place. Imagine your thyroid as a parking lot. Iodine is supposed to park in every space. But these imposters rush in first, blocking the real workers from doing their job. Now, your thyroid looks full, but nothing's working. Over time, that confusion leads to inflammation and sometimes even autoimmunity. Your immune system sees the chaos and attacks, and suddenly, your own defense system becomes the problem. That's how Hashimoto's thyroiditis begins for millions of people without them even knowing. 2. Stress and cortisol, the silent saboteur. Now, let's talk about stress, one of the biggest, quietest destroyers of thyroid health. When you live under chronic stress, your body produces cortisol, the hormone designed to help you survive danger. That's great when you're escaping a predator, but not so great when you're just stuck in traffic or worrying all day. Cortisol tells your thyroid to slow down because your body thinks it needs to conserve energy for survival. It's like putting your metabolism into safe mode. So, even if your thyroid is technically working, the message from your brain gets muffled. Your T4 to T3 conversion drops, and your cells stop receiving the energy signal. You can be normal on paper, but feel completely drained in real life. 3. The liver and gut connection. Here's something most people don't realize. Your thyroid doesn't work alone. Around 60% of your T4 gets converted to active T3 in your liver, and another 20–25% happens in your gut, specifically through healthy gut bacteria. So if your liver is overworked, maybe from alcohol, sugar, medications, or toxins, it can't handle that conversion properly. And if your gut microbiome is imbalanced, from antibiotics, stress, or processed food, your thyroid loses its best support team. That's why people with gut problems often have thyroid issues too. Your digestion and your hormones are speaking the same language, you just have to listen. 4. Autoimmune confusion, when the body turns on itself. In the modern world, the number one cause of hypothyroidism isn't iodine deficiency. It's autoimmunity, specifically Hashimoto's. This is when your immune system gets confused and starts seeing your thyroid cells as invaders. At first, you might not notice it, but over time, this internal attack leads to inflammation, fatigue, and brain fog. The tragedy is that it can go on for years before blood work even detects it. That's why testing for thyroid antibodies, like TPO, is so important. Yet, many doctors never order it unless you ask. If you've ever been told everything is normal, but your body says otherwise, this test could be the key that changes everything. 5. Nutrient deficiencies, the missing ingredients. Even if your glands are healthy and your stress is under control, your thyroid can't do its job without raw materials. It's like trying to bake bread without flour. The most essential nutrients are iodine, selenium, zinc, magnesium, and B vitamins. Iodine builds the hormones themselves. Selenium converts T4 into T3. Zinc helps the cells hear the signal. Magnesium calms the system so it can work efficiently. And B vitamins power the enzymes that keep everything moving. When you're low in any of them, your thyroid slows down not because it's broken, but because it's trying to protect you from running on empty. Your body isn't lazy. It's wise. It slows down so you don't burn out. And that's where the real story begins. Because once we understand why it slows down, we can finally learn how to bring it back to life. Now that you understand what throws the thyroid off balance, let's shift gears, because this is the part that gives people their hope back. Healing your thyroid isn't about chasing the perfect supplement or living in fear of food. It's about creating the right conditions for your body to remember how to heal itself. You don't have to fix every organ overnight. You just have to start giving your body the signals it's been missing. Let's go step by step through the 7 pillars of thyroid recovery. Step 1. Remove the interference. Before you add anything new, you have to clear what's blocking progress. The first thing to look at is toxins, especially fluoride, chlorine, and bromine. They sneak into your body through tap water, processed foods, and even some medications. Switching to filtered water and avoiding brominated flours can make a big difference. Even small, consistent steps like using glass instead of plastic or avoiding artificial scents lighten the chemical load on your thyroid and liver. Your body can't heal if it's busy defending itself. Step 2. Calm the stress response. Next, we have to lower cortisol, the hormone that tells your body to conserve energy. When you're under constant pressure, your thyroid gets the wrong message. Slow down. Save energy. Survive. That's why stress reduction isn't optional. It's therapy. It doesn't mean quitting your job or moving to the mountains. It means building tiny pockets of calm into your day. A 5-minute breathing session before breakfast, a short walk after lunch, or 10 minutes of quiet before bed. When your nervous system feels safe, your thyroid finally gets permission to speed up again. I've seen people lower their TSH and raise their energy just by managing stress more intentionally without changing a single supplement. Step 3. Heal the gut. Heal the hormones. If your gut isn't happy, your thyroid can't be either. Remember, almost a quarter of thyroid activation happens in the intestines. So, if you have bloating, irregular bowel movements, or food sensitivities, your hormones are already struggling. Start simple. Remove processed foods, eat slowly, and add real fiber from vegetables. Fermented foods like sauerkraut, kefir, or plain yogurt help repopulate good bacteria. Sometimes the gut doesn't need medicine, it needs patience. It took years to harm it. Give it months to heal. As digestion improves, people often say, "My brain fog lifted," or "My skin cleared." That's because the gut and thyroid were talking again. Step 4. Support the liver. If the gut is your garden, the liver is your filter. Every hormone, toxin, and nutrient passes through it, including thyroid hormones. If your liver is overloaded, your T4 can't efficiently convert to active T3. So what helps? Eat foods that make the liver's job easier. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and cauliflower, good fats like olive oil and avocado, and enough hydration to keep bile flowing. Avoid constant snacking. Give your liver time to process. And limit alcohol. It's one of the fastest ways to slow conversion. A healthy liver means a steady metabolism. Step 5. Replenish the nutrients. Now that the system is clearer, it's time to rebuild. The thyroid depends on 5 core nutrients: iodine, selenium, zinc, magnesium, and B vitamins. Iodine, the raw ingredient for thyroid hormones. Use sea vegetables or a high-quality supplement, but don't megadose. Balance matters. Selenium, the conversion helper. Just 2 Brazil nuts a day often meet your daily need. Zinc, the communicator. It helps your cells hear the thyroid's message. Magnesium, the calmer. It soothes nerves and supports hundreds of enzymatic reactions. B vitamins, the spark plugs. They keep your metabolism and detox pathways working smoothly. Think of these as the construction crew that rebuilds what years of stress and depletion tore down. Step 6. Balance blood sugar and insulin. Here's something few people connect. Unstable blood sugar is one of the biggest hidden stressors on your thyroid. Every sugar spike triggers insulin, and every insulin spike increases inflammation, which tells the thyroid, slow down again. To stop that roller coaster, eat real food with protein and fat. Avoid sugary drinks and late-night snacking. Start your day with eggs or avocado instead of cereal or toast. When your blood sugar stabilizes, your mood, focus, and metabolism follow, and your thyroid feels safe to run at full speed again. Step 7. Sleep, sunlight, and rhythm. Finally, never underestimate rest. Your thyroid works in rhythm with your circadian clock, the 24-hour cycle that controls every hormone. When you stay up late under artificial light, your body loses that rhythm. Melatonin drops, cortisol rises, and your thyroid slows to protect you from exhaustion. The fix is simple but powerful. Get morning sunlight for 10 minutes, dim your lights at night, and aim for 7 to 8 hours of real rest. Sleep isn't laziness. It's when your thyroid gets its maintenance shift. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent change. Healing takes time, but the body rewards consistency. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. When you feed your body clean water, calming routines, and real food, it remembers what health feels like. Some people see results within weeks: better sleep, warmer hands, clearer focus. For others, it takes months, but progress always comes. Remember, your thyroid didn't fail overnight. It adapted, trying to protect you. Now you're simply teaching it that it's safe again. When to test and what to ask. If you're working with a healthcare professional, these are the tests worth requesting. TSH, to see the signal from the brain. Free T4 and free T3, to check both production and conversion. Reverse T3, shows whether stress is blocking activation. TPO and TG antibodies, screen for Hashimoto's. Ferritin and vitamin D, since deficiencies mimic thyroid symptoms. Ask your doctor to look at patterns, not just numbers. Optimal thyroid health is a conversation, not a single line on a report. Lifestyle before labels. One of the biggest lessons I've learned over the years is this: your body doesn't care about labels, it cares about environment. You can't out-supplement a stressful life or poor sleep, but when you align your habits with how your body was designed to function, healing becomes almost automatic. So if you've been told, "This is just how it is," I want you to know, that's not true. You can absolutely heal. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. At first, healing your thyroid feels complicated, all the numbers, hormones, and tests. But once you see the pattern, it all makes sense. You reduce stress, clean your environment, feed your gut, and balance your nutrients. Your liver starts converting again. Your cells wake up. You feel warmth returning to your hands, energy to your mornings, clarity to your thoughts. That's not a miracle. That's your biology doing what it was built to do, once the interference is gone. If you've ever felt unseen or unheard by the medical system, please remember this. Your body is not broken. It's brilliant. It's been speaking to you in the only language it knows. Symptoms. Fatigue is not laziness. Brain fog is not weakness. Weight gain is not failure. They're messages, and now you understand what they mean. Every small step you take, every meal of real food, every deep breath, every night of rest, is a signal to your thyroid that it's safe to thrive again. So, don't rush the process. Honor it. Healing is not about returning to who you were. It's about becoming the person your body has been trying to help you find. If this video helped you see your health in a new way, share it with someone who might need that same understanding. Because sometimes, the right information at the right moment is the difference between years of confusion and a lifetime of healing. And if you want to keep learning how your body truly works, how your mind, metabolism, and hormones connect, subscribe to The Wellness Bridge.